funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
I was going to call him Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people.
Gobble and Waddle should be thankful they weren't pardoned by AutoPen, because they'd be going to the butcher.
He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid. As are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than Where's Hunter?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight. But I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it. I'd like to lose a few pounds too, by the way. And I'm not going to lose it on Thanksgiving, I can tell you that.
We've got a stand-up comedian as the President of the United States. I swear to God, there is never going to be another president like this. There never has been. Just really remarkable to watch him just riff like a stand-up comedian on stage at the big Thanksgiving turkey pardon and all of that stuff. Welcome to the show. It's effectively Friday for a lot of people. Let's face it. I mean, a lot of people are blowing off work today, but that's just the way it goes on the day before Thanksgiving. I believe tonight, if I'm not mistaken, is the biggest bar night of the year. Tonight is the night that everybody goes out and gets all drunk and everything, and goes out. And if I were still drinking, I'd be heading down to King Street in Alexandria, Virginia. But I'm not. I'm going on the Right Squad again tonight. I was on the Right Squad last night. Had a little bit of fun on there. They got a guy on there who's a liberal. And a lot of people have noticed that he seems to be a really sad person. Jason's he's all right guy. I didn't get a chance to talk to him much. I just said, you'd be sad too if you went on a show every week, every night on a panel where you're always wrong about everything, and you're defending the indefensible. You'd be kind of upset too. I don't understand how people can cling to leftism or liberalism when it's so profoundly wrong. And you've also, I always say that Scott Jennings is is an island of sanity and a sea of insanity on CNN, and the opposite is true for Jason on the Right Squad. He is the insane one in an island of sanity and reason. But that said, I think he's a pretty nice guy, whatever, and gave him a little what for last night on the First Amendment. He tried to tell me that Donald Trump is restricting free speech, which I think you can imagine what I had to say about disinformation and misinformation and being completely censored all of our opinions about everything for a couple of years. And I'm like, are you out of your nut? Yeah, it was a fun show. It was very fun. Mercy, by the way, Mercedes is a really nice person. In case you were wondering. All right, Mercedes Schlapp, by the way. Mercedes Schlapp is a very nice person, and they call her Mercy. I like that. I think it's Mercy. Mercy, how you doing there? Anyway, so I'm going to be there tonight again, by the way. It'll be a lot of fun. Fannie Willis election interference case against Trump thrown out by a Georgia prosecutor. You know why? Because it was a bunch of freaking crap is what it was. It was another one of those political indictments of Donald Trump. There were 4 of them in an election year, 91 felony counts brought up against him. This was about the cover-up of the theft and rigging of the 2020 election, which happened, by the way. And this was meant to take away from the stoppage of voting on the election night in Georgia at the Georgia Convention Center in Atlanta, where they just stopped counting votes, and then they sent all the press out, and then they got all of these big bags of votes out from under the tables and ran them through the counters a couple times. And we couldn't say anything about it. It was obvious. They were looking for votes. But they say because Donald Trump said in a phone call that, hey, man, look for some votes for me, that was much worse than, pulling out cases of ballots and running them through multiple times until Joe Biden had enough ballots to win the damned election. And this happened in all of the battleground states, by the way, in 2020. And again, you're not going to call that disinformation or misinformation, my opinion anymore, because I was right. And Fat Fannie Willis and her boyfriend, honestly, Nathan Wade, this guy had no ability to do what he was doing. He never prosecuted a case before, and he's going to go after the president. He was invited to the White House, surely to coordinate these persecutions with the other people involved, Jack Smith and whatnot, and it's been kicked out. State prosecutors Peter Skandalakis dropped the case against Trump, remaining co-defendants to serve the interests of justice and promote judicial finality. What it means is they didn't have D-word for Richard on a case, and they know that Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade are a joke and they're super corrupt. So there you go. That's what that's all about, by the way. The case was initially led by Willis, brought forward historic racketeering charges against Trump in his effort to overturn the 2020 election loss. Yeah, whatever. The political persecution of Donald Trump by disqualified DA Fannie Willis is finally over, said Trump's lead attorney Steve Sadow. The case should have never been brought. A fair and impartial prosecutor has been put into this lawfare. Willis, in August 2023, indicted Trump and 18 of his allies, including former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, on racketeering charges. However, Willis was removed from the case last December after it was discovered she'd been having a romantic relationship with one of the lawyers hired to lead the Trump prosecution, Nathan Wade. And he didn't wade. Hell, he dove right in. Yeah, he did. He dove right in. What a joke. I mean, it's like if you had a Jerry Springer panel in charge of a prosecution of a president. It was an absolute joke. And, of course, they tried to they made the mistake of bringing Donald Trump in, doing a perp walk and doing a mugshot, and it backfired big time. So, honestly, I'm going to go play this one more time, Jim Gossett, making fun of this wretched, awful woman and her idiot boyfriend. And another case bites the dust. Thank you.
Fannie Willis is a crook. All the money that she took, hired her boyfriend, he was unqualified, then lied about it when she testified. 700 grand he made.
Yeah, got a lot of money, man. Woo.
Fannie made sure he got paid.
But he earned it, trust me. Have you seen her lately?
No experience, but still got hired.
Just keep the money up.
They should be disbarred as well as fired. Oh, Fannie, you paid Nathan Wade, he's your lover. They should put you away, oh, Fannie. And you gave him a job just for cover. They should jail you today, oh, Fannie.
What you talking about, Willis?
Oh, Fannie, you use federal funds for your pleasure. And you won't get away, oh, Fannie. Your conviction is something we'll treasure.
They ruined the lives of Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell, they were talking about kind of fantasizing if A.G. Bondi were to step down, Sidney Powell stepping in. I love me some Sidney Powell. I think she's friggin' fantastic. And she got completely screwed. Not in the way that Fannie did, though. No, not in the way that Fannie did. So there you go. So that's some good news. I think that's some kind of good news. But guess what? You know what? I got some more good news. So let's go ahead and start off the show with our winning jingle.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning, 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 lots of winning. It's oh so good.
So here you go. Americans filed 216,000 new applications for unemployment last week, down 6,000 from the prior week, and marking the lowest level since mid-April, when Donald Trump had first become the president of the United States and Joe Biden's economy still casting a shadow over Trump's economy, and it still does. But, you got to do a lot of digging to get through the crap that he left behind. The decline defied economists' expectations for claims to rise 225,000, suggests companies remain reluctant to cut workers because, you know why? Because business is good, and they're getting ready to go into a fourth quarter that's going to be amazing. And by the way, they're saying today could be one of the most busy days of the world, or of the in our history. history as far as travel. And people usually travel when they got money.
And that is because that number that you just read, 73 million people will be traveling by car. That is an all-time record. And it's also an all-time record for people flying as well as taking the train and the bus and the
Usually you don't travel and stuff if you don't have any money.
Cruise ship. How much are we back from
He said even cruise ships, people going on cruise ships and stuff.
Pandemic, you ask? Way back. Take a look at the increase in travel, all three modes since the pandemic. Up by car by 4%, up by plane.
Yeah, because the gas is so cheap now. When I moved here to Northern Virginia, it was $3.39 or something like that. I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. I filled the other day for $2.70.
15%, and trains, buses, and cruise ships up 30%.
That is crazy, because when you go on a cruise ship, you got to spend a lot of money to go on the cruise ship.
Why is that? We asked the AAA.
I think people are still breaking out of the malaise that we were in during the pandemic, when we were locked up and cooped up, and people are rediscovering the country, particularly by motor vehicle and by taking a cruise ship.
Yeah, that is fantastic. That is just pretty darn nice. Yeppers, oh my God, we're going to do a little, we're going to OD on good news here. You better sit down for this one. U.S. net tariff revenue grew by 330% year over year to $31 billion in October. Get off the ledge, Wall Street Journal readers. Yeah, you were always full of crap. They lifted the Treasury's monthly receipts to $404 billion. Now, apparently there was a budget deficit of $284 billion, registering a 10% year-over-year increase. But that was false, because some of the November's military and health care benefit payments were shifted to October, because November 1st fell on a Saturday. When adjusting for these differences, October's budget deficit would have improved to $180 billion, down 30%. From when Pudding for Brains was the Prezi. I know. It's just, it's remarkable. And I'm not even done yet. I got more good news coming up, but I got to take a break right now. So we're going to have that on the other side. At the bottom of the hour, we got a hell of a lot of guests today. We got some great guests today. We got Scott Turner, the new HUD Secretary, going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. He's cleaning house over there. And then, of course, we got, Jennifer Galardi. She's fantastic. And then Louis Gohmert on the show today. Oh, my God. Isn't that amazing? So I would say it's a feast before the feast, if you will. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That call, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store. Hot Pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store. Hot Pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday.
love to end a war. How about you? I'm gonna end some more. You know it's true. India, Pakistan are at peace now. No war in Thailand, ceasefire in Iran. I'll take a bow. Rwanda and Congo ended their fight. And in Armenia, I made it right. Next up will be Ukraine, been a financial drain. Not anymore. Oh, how I love ending a war.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
And inflation is way, way down, and the prices of things, as you mentioned, are down. Like turkey's down 19%, gas prices are down, the lowest they've been in 4 years.
Wow.
And yet, right now, the main thing that everybody's saying in the liberal media is that inflation is President Trump's fault. You know, forgetting the fact that under Joe Biden, there was more than 20% inflation. One year that was almost 10%.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at the harm from the inflation under Joe Biden, it reduced the real wage, the real purchasing power for everyday Americans, for ordinary folks, by about $3,000. And since President Trump's come in, we've increased purchasing power by $1,200 already.
Kinda cool.
And as you know, we increased the real purchasing power by about $6,500 in the first term. And so we're on track to fill the hole that Joe Biden dug. But the point is, if you read the media and you read the way that they cover it, it's really bizarre. It's Kafkaesque. So think about it. There were headlines that said that retail sales collapsed, but everybody thought it would be 0.3 and it came in at 0.2. I mean, it was up. And
that is Kevin Hassett. You just can't wipe a smile off that guy's face. He is just a happy guy. I just enjoy watching him talking on the TV and whatnot. And he's an economic advisor for Trump. And the economy is kicking butt, by the way. You see, I know these things because I lived in flyover country where life was hell, where life was absolute hell when Joe Biden was the president of the United States. Unlike here in Washington, D.C., where 94% of the federal employees decided not to return to work after COVID and continued to gather their big fat checks and their retirement and all that, which is 70% higher than the rest of us. So that's why Washington, D.C. doesn't understand what Joe Biden put us through. It was awful. So there you go. All right, enough about the economy. Let's get on this seditious six thing. These guys are in a whole lot of trouble, and the left is, of course, doing everything they can to cover for people. Mark Kelly, senator, was on, of course, went to Kimmel last night where a well-fluffed audience was there to defend him.
I mean, you can't keep track of this guy and what he says. And I'll tell you this, though. I'm not backing down. I mean,
Great.
We said something very simple. Members of the military need to follow the law. We wanted to say that we have their backs.
No, that wasn't it at all, actually, and that he went to late-night television to defend his actions without any serious questions with a host who has made very clear that he is only there to go after Donald Trump, not to be funny at all. It's like if Benedict Arnold were alive today and he went on late night to defend his actions. It's not going to work so well, and I got to tell you, the more that I watch the left, the Democrats, and of course the media, the more I want this B word, Mark Kelly, to be court-martialed. Hell yes. And you know what? It has to be unrelenting. It has to be done, because otherwise they're not going to learn a lesson. And the next thing they will suggest is that the military go after Donald Trump. That'll be the next thing they do. This was a line that cannot be crossed, and people need to lose their situation for doing such a thing. Last night, the best analysis I saw, oddly enough, was from Jesse Waters. He talked to a couple of people in the CIA, and I want you to listen to this, because if anybody confronts you about, Mark Kelly was just expressing his opinion. No, he wasn't. Anyone in the military knows that what the seditious six said, it was obvious, is what you learn in basic training. This was meant to divide. This was meant to sow seeds of insurrection with military members, and it already is, by the way. And I'll share audio from that in just one moment. But here is Jesse Waters last night. Pay attention. This is good.
So I talked to two CIA officers who said that this is a part of a larger hoax, and what they're doing here is they're trying to condition the country to prepare for something bad that's about to happen at the hands of Donald Trump.
Yep.
It's straight out of the CIA playbook. It's a destabilization operation where you get people to mistrust each other. And you do this because she's an analyst. And as an analyst, she would make sure what propaganda operations were successful, which ones weren't. So she knows what works. So the first part of the video, you establish authority. I'm CIA, I'm military, you need to trust us.
Mm-hmm.
Second part
We've got your back.
The video, they introduce the threat. And the threat's not foreign, the threat's domestic, the threat's Donald Trump. And then
there's no factual basis for it whatsoever.
At the end, they introduce the solution. What's the solution?
Yes.
You resist, you say no. But they don't give an option. They say this is an obligation for you to do. Now, she is being run because she didn't come up with this herself. She's a Brennan acolyte, and you usually don't have congressmen and senators doing anything together. They kind of hate each other. So in order to organize this had to have had some sort of handler telling her what to do. And it was risky because nothing like this has ever been done in the history of the country. And
not since about 1860.
You can even tell because the media was skeptical. And they couldn't answer the question, so they hadn't even been read in on the operation. You see them fumbling and stumbling. And I'm glad that the U.S. military is now investigating this guy, Kelly, because this is what we expect from Donald Trump 2.0. You can't have the deep state interfering with a duly elected presidency and get away with it. You got to draw the line in the sand, and you have to make examples out of people.
Absolutely 100%. Because it will only fester and get worse. We've already seen the country burn in the summer of 2020. We've seen Mar-a-Lago raided. We've seen two nonsensical impeachments of Donald Trump, an attempt to take him off the ballot, an attempt to assassinate him twice. One time before the RNC convention, and no, I don't believe Thomas Crooks acted alone because the same people who raided Mar-a-Lago said that he acted alone. So forget about it. There are a lot of deep state actors still at play, and these people, the seditious six, particularly Mark Kelly, he needs to be brought back into active duty so he can be court-martialed, and his career should be ruined. He should be dishonorably discharged and stripped of all his accolades and all of his medals, which, by the way, he put on in the wrong fashion, and Pete Hegseth said, son, if you're going to be, a military officer, you might want to put your medals on correctly. That's rule number one. Go take a break. HUD Secretary joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP. More like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand. Be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline. Tim Walz is a lefty who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too, and everyone should know the damage that these two could do. Well, he's a turncoat, he's a traitor, a sour grapes Trump hater. He had the goods on Joe Biden. The evidence stayed in hiding. He's the left-wing media's overweight star. Ooh, I hate Bill Barr. Can't stand Bill Barr. I am not sold. The truth about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Barr has not been told. It was bizarre. Did it go too far? Oh, I hate Bill Barr.
Rachel, I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane. I've been shot down, nearly shot down multiple times. I've flown a rocket ship into space 4 times, built by the lowest bidder. And my wife, Gabby,
wow, you've been planning this.
Giffords, meeting with her constituents, shot in the head. 6 people.
Okay, what does that have to do with you committing an act of sedition?
People killed around her. A horrific thing. She spent 6 months in the hospital.
Okay, wow, he's just whipping out everything. Whipping out his bona fides and all of that. It's not going to work. I think they need to put the heavy on him. Joining us on the NEWSMAX hotline is Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner. Mr. Secretary, welcome to the show. Glad to finally meet you.
Hey, great to meet you, too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, bud, I got to tell you, looking at public housing over the years, not exactly a sterling reputation. The building where I work, there is actually public housing right near here. I live in Old Town Alexandria, and I say the difference between public housing and regular housing, it's all colonial, but the public housing has a couch in the backyard. What are you noticing about public housing, and what are you exposing as you get into the job as HUD Secretary?
Well, thank you for that. You know, when we came in, we have a common theme at HUD to say, we're watching the film. When I was playing in the NFL, we had game film. Yes. And, game film really told the true story. And, as we've been watching the film over the last, what happened over the last 4 years, we've had to make a lot of corrections and, bring a lot of transformative policies to our mission at HUD. And so we're returning back to our mission-minded focus. We serve the most vulnerable people of our country as it pertains to public housing, Section 8, rental assistance. And so we have been very intentional about cleaning up public housing. When you talk about just the people who live there, so we had about 12 million or more illegal aliens come across the border during the Biden administration, which really stifled affordability and the supply. And so we've taken actions at HUD to ensure that American taxpayer dollars go to American citizens that are living in HUD taxpayer-funded housing. And so we have a data sharing plan with Department of Homeland Security, with Kristi Noem, to make sure that everyone living in HUD public housing is a legal citizen. We also stopped illegal aliens from obtaining HUD-backed or FHA mortgages, which the Biden administration turned a blind eye to. And lastly, we are mandating and requiring every public housing authority to make sure they give us a comprehensive account of everyone living in a HUD-funded public housing home, be it Section 8, be it rental assistance, to make sure that we are serving the American people. And so those are some of the actions we've taken. As you alluded to your question about public housing.
So we had former, your predecessor, I guess, before in the last Trump administration, Ben Carson, he was able to get a lot done, and then things obviously went to hell in a handbasket when Joe Biden was the president. You've come up with this new hotline. You're going to be focusing on Memphis and Washington, D.C. Why those specific markets, Mr. Secretary?
Well, under the president's leadership, under President Trump's leadership, these were part of his focus, and particularly D.C. We want to make D.C. safe again and make the streets clean again, according to the president's executive order. And so that was the first order of business. And D.C. over the last several months has become a very safe place for families to go out to eat, to walk down the street, literally, with their children and their spouses. And so next was Memphis, Tennessee, which Memphis was having a tremendous time with crime and murder and things of this nature. And so just in a very short period of time over the last couple of months, the streets of Memphis, arrests have been made, drugs and guns have been taken off the street. And so for our new hotline, we announced that people can call into our crime hotline from HUD and speak directly to our Office of Inspector General to report any kind of nefarious activity, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, illegals living inside of public housing. And so this number, if you don't mind, I want to give it to you for the listeners. And it is 1-800-347-3735, 1-800-347-3735. And we also have a website that they can go to. It's HUD, HUDOIG.gov hotline. And so we want to make sure that people can go and confidentially report anything. If you hear something, if you see something, report it to our Office of Inspector General, and we will take it from there.
Well, Mr. Secretary, it must be hell for people who are law-abiding citizens living in public housing that has been infested by illegals and crime. You know yourself the rot that has existed in public housing for decades. Yeah. It's been for decades. And it's got to be a desperate situation for people who have to live. It's like living in prison.
It is. And, that's why we've taken these measures, and we will continue to take more. And I wanted to add, this hotline right now is focused on Memphis and D.C., but we are working to expand this to all public housing authorities across the nation so everyone's voice can be heard, because we want to ensure that people are safe in their homes, safe in their property, safe with their families. And, an interesting stat, about 59% of illegal families that have come across our borders illegally, they use one or more of our welfare programs in our country, costing us about $42 billion a year.
Wow.
And so we are attacking that on every front to make sure we're prioritizing and only prioritizing American citizens.
Now, what about Minneapolis? I'm very familiar with Minneapolis, having lived in there, and the Somali population, a good share of the Somali population are on the government dole, and they are robbing the government blind with fraud, with involving everything from Medicare to feeding children to kids with autism. And I know that public housing in Minneapolis is rife with corruption. I've seen it in Ilhan Omar's district. Are you going to be making Minneapolis a priority as well?
Yes, sir. We, and I'll say this, our heart at HUD is that we care for all of the people that we serve that live in HUD-funded housing, be it Memphis, be it Chicago, be it D.C., Dallas, Minneapolis. And so we want to put people on notice that if you are illegally here living in HUD-funded housing, the time is up. It's time to pack your bags. If you're doing criminal activity inside of HUD-funded, taxpayer-funded housing, the time is up. And so we're very intentional about this. This is not something that we just want to check the box on. This is something we actually care about the American people and make sure that this gets cleaned up.
This is a great, I mean, it is like HUD, you guys have put the foot on the accelerator to clean this up finally. And I've been talking for a while. We have so many people who go to Washington, D.C. and never do anything. They just increase the size of programs, they increase the spending, and they do nothing because once the crisis is over, then they're no longer needed. Can you stick around for the next break? Are you able to do that, Mr. Secretary?
Sure.
Okay, because I would like to talk to you about the bill to repeal Green New Deal housing mandates, also the reaction to $100 million for housing homeless at risk under HUD. The leftist media is going nuts over that. We will continue this conversation with HUD Secretary Scott Turner, our honored guest today on this day before Thanksgiving. After this break, this is the Rob Carson Show.
101.9 FM in Harford County.
Here we go.
Point blank. All the tree huggers, and I don't care if you're in here or not, you might want to leave the room, but forget about it. It's Redskins. My Super Bowl rings say Redskins, Washington Redskins. My grandfather is full Seminole Indian on my mother's side. So I'm Native American, and it doesn't bother me at all. And when I asked my grandfather when he was alive, when I was playing in the 80s, he said, "No, grandson, I'm very proud of you playing in the NFL."
I thought I would throw that in there as we welcome our honored guest today, the HUD Secretary Scott Turner. Used to play for the Redskins, Chargers, Broncos. Mr. Secretary, do you have an opinion on the Washington Redskins versus Commanders?
Yes, sir. I was very blessed, as you said, to play in the NFL and for the Redskins, the Chargers, and the Broncos. I personally love the Redskins name, logo, history, and I am in high favor of us changing the name back to the Redskins. Mr. Harris, the owner, he's a tremendous team owner. He and his staff, they're doing a great job, and I just encourage them, hey, let's get the name back, bring the tradition back, and I think many people are behind it.
I think so, too. I lived in Washington, D.C. for a dozen years, and the Redskins were terrible from 2004 until I left in 2015. They're starting to show some life, and I'd like the team to be good. Broncos, my whole family are Broncos fans. I'm a Chiefs guy. I've been living in Kansas City for 10 years, and I brought 3 Super Bowls to that city. You got a team. Who do you think's going this year? Who do you think's going?
Hey, man, the Broncos are tough.
Yeah, they are.
The Colts are tough.
Yeah.
I really think right now it's a toss-up. I wouldn't pick one team over another from either division. I think we may be surprised about who goes.
I know. Did you see the Chiefs last weekend come from behind victory? Here's the thing. If you start counting out the Chiefs, they always finish strong. So I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they deserve to go to the Super Bowl. But you cannot discount the powerhouse lineup of the Kansas City Chiefs. So there you go.
No, you can, and you can't discount Andy Reid. They have come from behind many times, to win world championships. So no, sir, you cannot count them.
It is not an easy place to go and play an away game in Arrowhead, is it?
That's right. No, I've played in Arrowhead many times, and I tell you, it was not my favorite place to play.
Well, I appreciate you sounding off on that. I want to mention this new hotline to report criminality in public housing is 800-347-3735. And unlike previous administrations, they're going to pick up the phone and do something about it because Scott Turner is in charge of this agency. I had a headline, you featured it on your Twitter feed. Barrasso introduces a bill to repeal Green New Deal housing mandates. This is really causing the price of housing to go up, and it also affects public housing as well. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So, it costs, when you think about a multifamily project, it costs about an additional $30,000 to developers, and that's not sustainable. And so when we came into the administration, we were very focused on taking down this Green New Deal, and so we eliminated the separate green and affordable housing MIP rate. And set all multifamily MIP rates to 25%, so the builders know and developers know exactly what they're dealing with. And to be honest, builders and developers are already building to these energy codes, and so this was just an extra cost, an extra piece of bureaucracy. And so we're very excited about that, to free up the building industry so they don't have to worry about any extra burdensome regulations.
Yeah, like no gas stoves, which is about the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But, oh my goodness, in the state of New York. This is the headline. I'm not sure. I think this is public television. It's devastating. More than $100 million for housing homeless at risk under new HUD policy. Would you like to address this headline and what the left is saying about what you're trying to do to get rid of graft and corruption in the public housing sector?
Well, I absolutely will. Number one, that's fake news, and that's a narrative. During the Biden administration, there were almost $12 billion spent on the continuum of care policy that HUD is in charge of. And so essentially it became a slush fund to house homeless and to build nonprofits. But we had a record amount of homeless people in America on one single night in 2024, 770,000 homeless people, including women and children, with record funding from HUD. And so, as I said before, as we were watching the film, we said, you know what, those plays that they've been running are losing plays. And so we have a new playbook. And so we just announced a new continuum of care, competitive NOFO, which says we're not only going to focus on the housing first model, which is a failed model, but instead of just housing people, housing our homeless neighbors, we're also going to get to the root of it and treat the problem, mental illness, drug abuse. And so we can house people, treat people, help them to be transformed, and then to live self-sustainable lives. And so it's just a different paradigm. And not only, you know, people talking about it's going to be a cut. It's not a cut. As a matter of fact, we're adding resources. This is the largest amount of resource that has been given to the continuum of care ever at HUD. And so we're adding almost $500 million, but the way that it's competed for, the way that it will be distributed and used is going to actually help us to help those people that need it the most.
Well, you know, your life doesn't have to be purgatory. And a lot of Democrats, they keep people strung up, particularly in places like California with homeless drug addicts, keep them addicted, put Narcan out there, and then take in $1 million apiece for the people who are continually living in purgatory. That's what they're doing out in California. And I'm glad to see you're doing something about it. I think great things are happening. Secretary Scott Turner. Again, the number is 800-347-3735. Can you repeat the website again there? I wrote it down as hudoig.gov/hotline. Is that it?
That's exactly right.
All right.
That's exactly right.
Occasionally I listen. It's amazing. My ex-wife would say otherwise.
Yes, sir. And hey, Rob, just to clarify, you know, as of right now, the focus here is in Memphis and in D.C. with our hotline, but we're working very hard right now to expand that nationwide, because we want people to be able to report crime and nefarious activity that's going on in public housing.
Well, I appreciate you, sir. God bless you, and a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for finding the time for us today.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. That was good.
Automated text messages.
I doubt very many people, I don't know, maybe might talk.
Man, my drives have been getting weaker and weaker. The same thing happened to me when I turned 40. Men over 40 lose more than just their golf game. Energy, strength, stamina, it all goes.
I told you I'm easily distracted. Hello, Shebrat. Hello, Round a Pony. You guys over there on the Rumbly Roo. Libertarian Guy 04. Hello, what's up? What's up? Glad to see you there. You're new. You're new. Zionism is anti-American. I don't even know what that is all about, but I am a proud Christian Zionist. Damn straight I am. Let's see what else we got over here. Prana Uberjet, good to see you over on Facebook. Carol Leftwich, as always. Deplorable Dinosaur on YouTube. Yo, what up? Glad to have you here. Istel3, you're new. Welcome, welcome. Adrian John, you're new. Welcome. Let's do another break, shall we?
We can.
Little Show Me How to Live, Audio Slave. the day before Thanksgiving. Tonight, the biggest bar night of the year. I'm driving to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be the closest thing to my childhood Thanksgiving. I'm going to hang out with some good friends of mine, and they're going to have like 45 people there. That's the kind of Thanksgiving we used to have when I was growing up. It was the greatest thing in the world. It was the absolute best thing in the world. My mother would put together a Thanksgiving, and she'd start cooking the day before, and you'd have you'd have a dozen pies. You'd have a turkey. You'd have a goose. She did mincemeat pie. I know, mincemeat pie. Who does mincemeat pie? Pumpkin pie. We had, all of the sides. We had scalloped corn and oysters. A gift from God, my mother. And she would do oyster dressing. She'd go get some fresh oysters. In Iowa, that's kind of hard to find. Usually you get mountain oysters. But those are testicles, by the way. Anyway, you guys in the metro areas are going, what the what? Yeah, mountain oysters are testicles. They use them from pigs and cows, and they eat them. It's nothing I really cared for. But my mother would do oyster dressing, and you would eat it the next day for breakfast. Cold. It was that good. So it's pretty amazing. This is kind of something fun, kind of not related to the news cycle, but this is a news report from Thanksgiving 1981.
Thanksgiving dinner 1981 will not be as expensive as some people may think. We took a typical list of Thanksgiving dinner items to 4 different grocery chains in the Albuquerque area to compare prices. We purchased items to feed 6 adults. Here's what we found.
What did we find?
A 12-pound turkey averaged $6.69. Oh. The average cost for 12 ounces.
A 12-pound turkey was $7.
Of stuffing was $1.04. 15 ounces of cornbread mix averaged 69 cents.
What?
2 15-ounce cans of green beans averaged 76 cents.
Wow.
3 pounds of yams averaged $1.59, and a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream was 57 cents.
Wow, a Kraft marshmallow cream was 57 cents.
1 16-ounce can of cranberry sauce cost an average of 57 cents.
Yeah, that's the Ocean Spray jelly cranberry sauce.
A 16-ounce can of pumpkin also cost an average 57 cents.
57 cents.
Mincemeat ranged in price from $2.29 to $2.99 for a 28-ounce jar.
Mincemeat.
2 9-inch pie crust averaged 65 cents, and 8 ounces of
2 pie crusts were 65 cents.
Whipped topping averaged 73 cents at the 4 stores.
There's 73 cents for Cool Whip.
The total show the most expensive of the 4 stores we shopped was Furr's, with a total cost of $17.83 for the items, followed by Smith's at $16.52, Bag & Save at $15.77, and Albertsons at the low end with a total of $15.75 for all items.
Wow. That is amazing. And prices down dramatically from last year thanks to Donald Trump. But we ain't going back to 1981. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
In less than 1 year, we've accomplished more than most other administrations have accomplished in 8 years. And this is a very special Thanksgiving. We thank God for his many blessings and the great success that this country has seen in the short period of time. Woo! We draw strength from the love of family and friends, and we express our undying gratitude for the men and the women of the United States Armed Forces. We love them. We pray that peace and prosperity will continue to bless our land, and together we'll really just keep this great drive going to make America great again. MAGA, I think it's the greatest expression in the history of politics. Make America great again.
Yeah, you know, it's Thanksgiving. I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready to come in here and do this here radio program and then be on the Right Squad on NEWSMAX later. Thanksgiving, it's the only holiday like it in the world where a nation stops to give thanks for the bounty they have in their lives, for living here. Many suffer. I understand it. I've suffered over the years. But it's a day that we pause and we thank God, who we acknowledge in our Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, whom our rights come from, not from man. And we thank God for being here. And if you have come here illegally and you don't want to assimilate and don't love the country, screw you. There you go. Ta-da! Anyway, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. Last year was the Thanksgiving and the Christmas holiday was a crap show for me. So this year, not so much. Here's Donald Trump yesterday talking about more people doing a couple of things that cause Democrats to curl up into the fetal position and fall into the pits of hell.
But we have more people working. We have more people praying.
More people working and more people praying. The two things that the Democrat Party does not want.
The churches are coming back. I don't know if you've been reading that story, but religion is coming back to America. Some people say, oh, why would you mention that? To me, that's a big deal. And this Thanksgiving, we're also making incredible strides.
Yeah, pretty darn cool. You know, yesterday, Joy Reid was on doing a podcast with that Jennifer Welch, that psychotic cat lady from hell. And this is the essence of evil. This is the essence of evil. This is three coven members of a coven, you know what that is, gathering around a cauldron. Because this is just freaking evil. I want you to listen to these three harpies from hell. And listen to Joy Reid. She's talking all girlfriend. She just comes all girlfriend when she wants to be all girlfriend. She's just like Jasmine Crockett. 1 minute she's a Deb from St. Louis, a private school Deb from St. Louis, and the next minute she's a Jerry Springer candidate, a panelist, and that's what she did yesterday. I want you to listen to this, talking about Charlie Kirk's wife and J.D. Vance and his marriage.
So they can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his...
You are such an a-hole, it's not even funny. The American people don't give a rat's behind. MAGA people don't give a rat's behind about the color of your skin, and only you guys are focused on race. How dare you? How dare you say this? That we wouldn't elect a president if he had a brown wife. You awful, awful, wretched woman.
His wife under the bus, or Usha, or she's in on it, right?
And she's playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk's the weirdest I've ever seen.
That's Jennifer Welch. She sold her soul to somebody.
She's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay, holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Some weird shit.
Baby, don't do that to Jason. I'm gonna start thinking something's going on. Why you holding the back of his head?
Harpies from hell.
I'm like, you not doing that right.
Throw some Eye of Newt in that cauldron there.
Right there. You're supposed to be a widow. You in leather pants?
Yeah.
You in leather pants?
That's not widow wear.
Could you imagine if...
Wouldn't it be the most perfect fairy tale, MAGA fairy tale?
Yeah.
If he finally sees the light that he needs a white queen instead of this brown Hindu? I mean...
Well, I got to tell you, that's evil. That is, to sit around and laugh like that, mentally ill. I mean, beyond mentally ill. Did you ever think that in your lifetime, if you've been maybe around over 30 years, you would have people talk like that and take pride in that sort of conversation? Celebrating the murder of a man named Charlie Kirk, shot in the neck, splayed wide open, bled to death live on television. You sick, wretched, awful woman. My God. I told you the Democrat Party is spiraling into hell and trying to drag us in with them, and we're not going. It really is just remarkable, just absolutely remarkable. And you know, we were talking about yesterday about the Trump Derangement Syndrome, which has ended a lot of marriages and thrown wrenches in friendships and all of this. The psychotherapists that claim that Trump Derangement Syndrome is real is now getting death threats from people with Trump Derangement Syndrome. This is how sick they are. A guy just comes out and says, yeah, there are people who are legitimately bleeped in the head because they can't deal with the fact that Donald Trump is the president. And now those same people want to kill a psychotherapist because he brought up the real fact that people are driving themselves nuts over Donald Trump being the president.
People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated, they're hyper-fixated on Trump, and they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep, they feel traumatized by Mr. Trump, they feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered. So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
I remember reading about the Civil War when I was at school and brothers fighting against brothers, and I couldn't believe that such a political disagreement could result in brothers fighting one another to the death. And then this happened. And I've had my family wrecked. I've had my friendships wrecked. All of my friends here in Maryland, who I had for a dozen years, spending a dozen New Year's Eves together, 5 nights a week having dinner together, helping to raise their kids, watch their kids' birthday parties, getting them through cancer. None of them welcomed me back to Washington, D.C. None of them. Because I became a conservative talk show host. It is sad. But worth it. There you go. Yeah, I said it. Worth it. Because I am not going to be a sheep. I'm not going to follow their nonsense. Not one little bit. This is Rosie O'Donnell. She is a mentally ill, awful human being who left the country to live in Ireland because Donald Trump became the president, even though the economy and everything is getting better in America as Donald Trump is the president. He has not violated the Constitution in any way, shape, or form. He has closed the southern border and is expelling criminals in mass from the country, making America's cities safer. Washington, D.C. violent crime altogether down 70%, carjackings down 80%, and they're getting similar results in Memphis, but she's so mentally freaking ill that she moved out of the country despite being a multi-millionaire who really hasn't had to work a day in her life in 30 plus years. Here she is yesterday talking about her therapist. Who the hell needs a therapist when you are filthy rich? You don't have to worry about working 2 jobs just to pay the bills and stay in your house. Because I've been there. You know how I got rid of my depression? I got a job, and I stopped drinking. Oh, my God, I didn't need therapy or nothing. Here is Rosie O'Donnell.
I have this new, therapist I'm going to that talks about trauma healing. As I was leaving, they were like, can I ask you to do homework? You should try to not post about him for 2 days. And it's so hard. It's so hard not to just want to, bam, you know.
You're a psycho. You're a disgusting human troll. You've had everything in the world. You've had every blessing since you were discovered on Star Search by Ed McMahon in the 80s. You have lived the dream. You were such a selfish and awful person. You had a magazine. You had your own TV show and a magazine. You fired your entire magazine staff just to be a B-word. That's how psychotic you are. I'm reminded of this clip that I say from Jordan Peterson about, and this, I don't think this necessarily just appeals to men, but this is kind of what I'm experiencing in my life.
A man with few friends or no circle at all, that's someone you don't want to cross. He's learned through tough experiences that quality always beats quantity. He doesn't need a crowd to feel strong. His power comes from within. While others chase after validation, he chooses to walk alone. He's seen the fake friendships, the drama, and the betrayals, and he's cut all of it out. Now he stands untouched, at peace. He doesn't need anyone to make him whole. He's complete on his own. The end. One genuine friend holds more value than 100 phony ones. His circle is small, his trust is earned, and anyone who brings trouble is swiftly removed. He values his time, treating it like royalty. He knows what he's after and never settles for less. So when you meet a man with a small circle or none at all, don't mistake it for weakness. That's real strength. That's confidence. He doesn't need your approval because he's already won the only fight that truly matters, the one with himself. A man with few friends or no circle.
That's where I am. It's been a long road to get here, and it has not been easy. And if you're going through the same thing, and I've heard from so many of you the last few days who've gone through similar things and are still going through it. There's going to be mourning. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be rage. All will be abated, and you'll see the light eventually. And you'll be thankful. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
With talent on loan from God. And have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine.
All audience expectations every day behind this golden EIB microphone.
To the town of Portland I said in the guard, Antifa, they are gonna hit you hard. To Democrat mayors getting in my way, go ahead punks and make my day. F around and find out, F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out, I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil neck and Chris Ray, for your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out, hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you're gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
In Harford County.
Gonna rejoin.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Yeah, man. Exactly right. We got a president who's doing things to the left. They can't lie enough to cover up the good. Cannot do it, cannot do it, cannot do it. We got to, we had the housing secretary on the show last hour. It was a great interview with Scott Turner. Really good interview with Scott Turner. Even talked a little football. He's an ex-professional football player who was with the Redskins, Chargers, and Broncos. And we talked a little bit about that and then what they're doing to finally make public housing right for people who need it, and I think it's pretty amazing. The podcast is available. Just to go to your usual podcast platforms, look up Rob Carson Show, and subscribe. Please, if you would subscribe, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with the seditious six and what they did to sow seeds of doubt and sedition in the military rankings. It was done for a reason. It was deliberate, and the people who did it need to be in a lot of trouble. The Department of War has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly. In accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, other applicable regulations, a thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which may include recall to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. I want him now 100% to be court-martialed, 100%, because he went on late night television last night. He is trying to rub Donald Trump's face in it. He is tempting a fate. He thinks that Donald Trump will back down. And this is a point where we cannot back down. People who do this have to be held accountable. This has to stop here, because what comes next? What comes next? Fort Sumter. I'm not screwing around here. That's what they want. They are out of their minds. They've driven their voting base out of their minds. They will follow any marching orders. Any marching orders. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Burn his dealerships. ICE agents are Nazis. Attack the ICE agents. Charlie Kirk is a fascist. Kill Charlie Kirk. This has to be stopped. Here's Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project.
What Senator Mark Kelly is doing here by wink, wink, nod, nod to 18-year-old military enlistees to decide what orders of the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, are lawful versus unlawful, and then to ignore what these 18-year-old enlistees think are unlawful orders of the President of the United States. You cannot get more dangerous than this. That is interfering with the chain of commands. Mark Kelly is trying to portray himself as some noble hero. He's trying to portray himself as some victim when he got called out on it. He should absolutely get court-martialed and held accountable for this. And he can raise his congressional speech or debate clause arguments for his defense, whatever he needs to do, but they need to make an example out of this guy. There's no chance this guy's going to be the President of the United States. He's a clown, and he's really hurt his credibility by doing this far outside of the political.
Yeah, and then he went on late night television to plead his case without any pushback because he's a coward. He's a filthy, rotten coward. And I would tell it to him, to his face. I would absolutely love to tell it to his face. I'm not like Ruben Gallego and Pete Hegseth cowering behind a television camera because Pete Hegseth would whoop his rear end bigger than life. And I would not be afraid to tell Mark Kelly what the hell I think of him. So, Mark, you know where I am. Come and see me, man. I'd love to do an interview with you on this radio program. Stephen Miller was asked about what to do with the seditious six last night.
Well, they should be held accountable under the law and under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for a seditious conspiracy against the United States of America. This is completely open and shut, straightforward. What is the motivation? Why would 6 members of Congress, selecting specifically for individuals with a CIA or military background, record a carefully written, carefully produced, slickly edited video messaging directly to members of our clandestine services and our armed forces, telling them to disobey orders from their superiors, telling them that they should individually determine whether an order is legal or illegal and defy it. Individuals who are exercising life and death power. The CIA engages in covert missions all over the world involving life and death decisions. The armed forces launches life-taking missions time and time again. They carry weapons. They control drones. They control missiles. They work on nuclear submarines. For what purpose would you ever deliver this message? As you said, it's to create a color revolution. It is the CIA playbook for trying to foment insurrection from within the military and within the CIA.
Yes, and this is what the Democrat Party has become, and they are not a party for good. They have to be gutted and reinvented or disappear into the dustbin of history.
The Democrat Party is openly engaged every day in trying to tear down democracy, whether it be judges who are binding the president with unlawful orders, releasing violent criminals back onto the street, trying to cement and protect the illegal alien invasion of America, and now fomenting rebellion inside the ranks of our armed forces and CIA.
The Democrat Party is no longer a force for good, if it ever was. If it ever was. Cybercrime is spiking during the holiday, especially around Black Friday. That's this coming Friday, by the way. Falling victim to cybercrime, the last thing you want to do, and I'm getting fished all the time by nonsense saying my payment method is expired and whatnot, and then they ask for a new credit card. It's a scam, guys. You can lose your identity. You can lose thousands of dollars. It could take you years to recover. That's why I do WebRoot Total Protection. WebRoot Total Protection is offering a 75% discount to protect your computer. 75% off. Just go to webroot.com/Carson. Webroot.com/Carson. Family protection includes toddlers, students, seniors, and other dependents. Up to $1 million in expense reimbursement for stolen funds and out-of-pocket costs. 90% retention rate on customers who go with WebRoot. They love the product so much, but you've got to do it today, okay? WebRoot Total Protection, less than $50 a year, 75% off. Webroot.com/Carson, webroot.com/Carson. There are a lot of players out there trying to sell you, protecting you online and whatnot. I trust WebRoot. It's a great, great product. 75% off, webroot.com/Carson. Do it before Black Friday. Do it today. Jennifer Galardi joins us next to talk about MAGA Thanksgiving. It's not as bad as you think. On the other side of the break, don't go anywhere.
%, that's what Kimmel's lost since they put him back on the air. The morons at ABC were too blind to see that about Kimmel no one cares. 85% in a key down. That is what Kimmel lost. Why they keep him around to keep losing ground? Still air him no matter what the cost. Sinclair must feel real stupid now. Next star still with regret. 71% wonder where they went. On Kimmel's failure, you get bet.
Disney stock was $197 a share in March of 2021. Now it's $122 a share.
Disney must be in panic mode. They'd pull this show if they could. Why did they bring him back? This a funny hack. Suspension should have been for good.
Rent-free in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hey, Red, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, not necessarily prevent them from happening.
Buffoon. Jasmine, she is a buffoon. District no longer exists. Out of the Congress real soon. I'll be glad when she's gone from D.C. No, Jasmine, it will be pure bliss. I know that this may not sound PC. That mouth on her I will not miss. Buffoon. Jasmine is a total fake. Her ghetto accent's not real. How much more can we take? Buffoon. She was drawn out of her seat. Will be in Congress no longer. Her leaving will be a treat.
Pre-Thanksgiving Rob Carson Show. I know for a fact that tonight is the biggest bar night of the year. I don't drink anymore, but get a designated driver. And a lot of people, of course, going over the river through the woods. They're saying it depends on who you listen to. They say the biggest travel day in 15 years or of all time. So a lot of people on the road and in the air and all of that stuff. Joining us on the NEWSMAX hotline is Jennifer Galardi with Restoring American Wellness and the Heritage Foundation. Also looks remarkably at times like Jennifer Aniston. I'm sure she gets this all the time. How are you?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
You
today?
get it all the time, don't you?
I do.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer. I mean, that's terrible. Oh, my God.
There are worse things in life.
The worst thing in the world to look like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing your headline, this piece you wrote, How to Make Your Thanksgiving More MAHA Friendly. And I'm thinking, okay, here goes dietitian Captain Buzzkill telling us we got to have low-fat this and that, and it's going to suck. Not so much. I read the article. It's pretty great.
No, absolutely not. It's not going to suck at all. It's wonderful because I'm just using real ingredients. I'm just encouraging people to cook for themselves if they don't have time, normally during the year, to do it once a year. And I made a sweet potato casserole. There are at least, half a stick of butter in there, coconut milk, nuts, but it's all real whole food ingredients.
Isn't that interesting?
With that food hangover.
I've been talking about wellness and whatnot for many years. I've done wellness retreats with dietitians and chefs and all that. I'm a gourmet cook myself, and I remember I spoke to a guy years ago about. Some food that we call food is not food. It's never, nothing in it has ever lived. It has not come from anything that has ever lived. Like Cool Whip. He killed Cool Whip for me. Cool Whip is a complete chemical compound. It's terrible. It's terrible, isn't it?
Cool Whip might be one of the worst offenders out there. I mean, you're just better off with going with whole cream, real whipped cream. And you can really go for it and make it yourself, or even better than the Cool Whip, unfortunately. And people will use these. Well, I'm dairy free. I'm like, you're better off not being dairy free.
Yeah. Are you on a speakerphone, by the way?
I am not. I have my headsets on, but let me move out to a different location.
That's okay. That's okay. Just sounds a little hollow, and I want you to sound full and awesome. You also mentioned the jellied cranberry sauce versus regular cranberry sauce. If you would never pick up a cranberry and just pop it in your mouth and go, yum, 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 you've got to add all sorts. But there are ways that you can make them good.
Yeah, they're, I'm going to try just straight to phone. Is that better,
Yes.
Rob?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay. I'll go the old-fashioned way, put it to my ear.
Right.
No, cranberries are actually very, very bitter. They are high in vitamin C, but you don't want to just kind of pop an uncooked cranberry from the bag. You cook it down with sugar and orange juice, some cinnamon sticks. That's what I plan on doing tomorrow.
And it is good. I the other night, I think you'd be impressed, I did my world-famous Christmas candied jalapenos with 100% vinegar, sugar, cinnamon stick, and craisins. Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of those. Although I will warn on the craisins. There are little chemicals in the craisins for preservatives, but everything else sounds great.
Maybe I should make my own craisins. I should make my own craisins.
You can do that.
All right, that might be a good idea. Why not just why not use some cranberries and just cook them down with sugar and the vinegar?
Yeah, you could do that too.
I'll do that. All right, that's a good idea.
I'm always looking for healthy swaps. I'm always trying to find just healthy swaps. Like, instead of this, what could I use? I did that in my sweet potato casserole with, coconut milk, right? It's a nice creamy flavor, so all sorts of tips you can use.
Here's the thing, and Jennifer, my mother used to keep a can of bacon fat on the stove, and for so many years, that's white trash or that's whatever. No. Because real fat doesn't cause heart disease. Crisco does.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, the research is coming out, and not that the older research was ever really there, but there's no conclusive evidence that dietary cholesterol actually causes cholesterol in the arteries and thereby causing heart disease. It's really more an inflammatory condition of the arteries produced from the liver, but that might be a little too deep for Thanksgiving, so we'll
No, it's not. I think this is important. If you're going to eat, eat like your grandma did. Do real butter. Do real butter. Do hell? You had mentioned in your piece that I was just quoting from. Go full beef tallow on the fried turkey. That'd be a little expensive to fill the fryer.
Yes. I mean, you're seeing this move to beef tallow as a replacement for these vegetable oil fats. And there is a potato chip brand called Vandy that the potato chips, and you know what I notice when I eat them, and they are wildly expensive, but you know what I do notice when I eat them is I actually feel like I am getting nutrients because of the beef tallow, and I feel full. I actually don't want the whole bag. It is very bizarre to sit down with a bag of potato chips and have just 5 or 6 and be happy, because you actually get full from the real ingredients like the beef tallow.
Yeah, and I had some, I got these tortilla chips. I heard Glenn Beck talking about them, and I ordered a whole case of them, and they are tortilla chips in beef tallow, and they're freaking fantastic. And you're right, you don't want to
chips?
You don't want to eat, yeah, masa, yes. Oh my God.
Chips, yeah.
They are
they
are the real deal. But we eat a lot of just fake stuff. You know, hell, my mom, I lived on a farm, and we had lard. We cooked in lard. I can't eat lard. I don't like the taste of lard. But at least it was real. Let me ask you about peanut oil. Is peanut oil not good for frying your turkey?
You know, I've not explored it. Okay. I've normally roasted the turkey, so I could say, you know, I think it's not so much where the oil comes from; it's the process that is used to get to the oil.
Yes.
And that's really the criticism of vegetable oils like the soybean oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, and some might be better than others. Like grapeseed oil every now and then, I'm not going to get mad about. Yeah. I think when you're constantly using it in your foods, and the thing is it's consistently in processed foods, ultra-processed foods.
Yes.
And so there's even a question, is it really the seed oil, or is it the other ingredients that are often accompany the seed oils that are the problem, like the sugar and the and you know, kind of the other chemical-based ingredients that make up nougat? I don't know, like you said you don't know what Cool Whip is. I'm still confused as to what makes up a Milky Way bar. Like, I'm not sure what the nougat is, you know? So it's those kinds of things, and those are the kinds of things we really need better research on. And that's what Kennedy's calling for, is gold standard science. Let's really kind of break these things down. And the unfortunate part is we've talked about this, I believe. We've had so many fast, rapid, technological, industrialized changes in the past 50 years.
Yes.
It's going to be hard to pinpoint one thing as the cause of some of these chronic diseases.
And you know, the thing is that we have added every kind of artificial sweetener and every replacement for fat, and we are the fattest, most diabetic that we've ever been, aren't we? It's ridiculous.
Well, and that's another. That was a huge flaw in the so-called science, is the food pyramid that placed kind of any kind of carbohydrate, even refined carbohydrates at the bottom, and said, eat most of this. So you're looking at a bunch of people who are insulin resistant from an overabundance of a diet of carbohydrates.
Now, I would like to talk about a few things on the other side of the break. Can you hold on?
Sure.
Because I've got apparently AI recipes for Thanksgiving stuff is creating recipes that are recipes from hell you wouldn't want to try. And so people are turning away from actual people who cook to AI recipes, and it's a joke. And then a Long Island pizzeria has a Thanksgiving pie. It sounds really weird, but they're sold out. We're going to touch on that on the other side of the break with Jennifer Galardi on The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
dinner, 1981 will not be as expensive as some people may think. We took a typical list of Thanksgiving dinner items to 4 different grocery chains in the Albuquerque area to compare prices. We purchased items to feed 6 adults. Here's what we found. A 12-pound turkey averaged $6.69. The average cost for 12 ounces of stuffing was $1.04. 15 ounces of cornbread mix averaged 69 cents. 2 15-ounce cans of green beans averaged 76 cents. 3 pounds of yams averaged $1.59, and a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream was 57 cents.
That is a report from 1981. Jennifer Galardi, I don't believe was alive then, but yeah, things have changed. And you know what? Through this report, they went into the jellied cranberry sauce and the Cool Whip, and that's when all of the artificial stuff really started to kick in, the 70s and the 80s through today, right?
Yeah, well, I was alive, by the way. Thank you very much.
Look at you. Heck no. Dang.
It's all the MAHA living. I
Good for you.
So, you know, take me back to those days, right, when you can actually afford food. But you are right. The more processed food became, the cheaper it became, because the cheaper the ingredients were, and also the more filled they were with ingredients that were heavily subsidized by the government, such as corn, soy, wheat, sugar. So the more you subsidize a product or the ingredients that go into something you're eating, the less expensive it's going to seem at the register, but unfortunately we're paying for it on the back end with our healthcare system. And you actually need more junk food to feel full, because as I mentioned with the beef tallow potato chips, your body isn't registering that it's getting nourishment. It's just getting calories, and that's not necessarily enough. You need
100%.
nourishment. You need the vitamins and minerals. So
100%.
you're going to need more junk food to feel full. It's kind of this, that's why people say food is addictive now, and it absolutely is, and we should treat it like the drug that some people are using it as.
You are 100,000,000,000% right. I mean, it is ridiculous. I swear to God. Now I want to ask you this, because I am recently single, not exactly liking it, and I've met a couple of people. You know, I'm not considering whatever. Anyway, I don't know if it's just now, but the people that I have met, women who I've met are, I mean, carbs are like garlic to a vampire. I mean, the thought of eating a piece of pizza almost makes somebody's head explode. What is going on with carbs, and what carbs are okay? Because I got to tell you, I think Jesus walked through the desert with his friends, and they had bread, and they had wine and fish, and they weren't all fat. I mean, honestly, this is another thing. You can't have carbs. Well, my life is too short to not have a piece of pizza, for God's sake.
I am in agreement with you. Being from the kind of Mediterranean East, from Greece and Italy, I feel like, you know, I can't have a day without cheese and carbs and wine and oil. So I'm on board with that. But you also mentioned something, that Jesus and his disciples were walking through the desert.
Yes.
We don't walk. We do not move.
Yes.
And so the more, like, you know, a colleague of mine talks about this kind of theory of discordance, meaning the more out of alignment we become with the natural rhythm of nature, of God, the harder we have to work to kind of reinforce or almost force that alignment. So I think women kind of got scared of, you know, the whole diet fads in the 80s, in the 90s, and it did become a culture of fearing food. There has to be a happy medium here.
I remember.
And I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I think experimenting with different diets, go ahead, experiment with keto, experiment with this. I've been doing this long enough where now I'm not obsessive over anything.
I know.
If I feel like I need to cut back, I cut back.
Yes.
You know, I actually bought a loaf of bread, but it was all whole ingredients, because I just feel like I want a piece of bread with butter.
Hell yeah.
Now and then.
You know,
So,
I've seen it all. I've seen the stupid caveman diet. You remember back in the 90s, there was a thing called the cabbage soup diet. So people wanted to lose weight with a diet that they gave to heart patients the couple days before they go in to have, you know, bypass surgery. I mean, by God, are we that freaking freaked out about weight? I mean, just common sense, real food, not as much, and exercise. Dear God.
Well, you mentioned something. You said they would give that diet to patients before they went into heart surgery. And I think the problem is we have such an epidemic of obesity. At this point, people are facing chronic disease every day. So now we might have to tweak the recommendations to accommodate what where a majority of the population is, which is overweight. So yes, we might have to, for a while, tweak the recommendations, the food recommendations, to say, hey, less carbohydrates, like below a certain number if you're this weight or if you're looking to lose this many pounds. So we're having these discussions in policy. We did a great public event with some very smart scientists about food and insulin resistance and glucose levels. All of these, they know so much, and it's unfortunate that we're at that place. But for most people, because they've been feeding off of a carbohydrate-intensive diet for the past 20 to 30 years, they need a little bit of an extreme to kick it back in, to get their metabolism back in gear, to get to a baseline of health, and then you can be a little more lenient and lax with your diet. But you also pointed out we're not moving. We don't move as like we used to.
Well, I always say all things in moderation and occasionally to excess. Hell yeah. For instance, at Pino's Deer Park Pizza in New York, they have a Turkey Day Thanksgiving pie with slices of turkey breast, gravy, sausage, and apple cornbread stuffing topped with cranberry sauce. They're sold out. They sell 500 of these in a single day. Would you have a big slice? I would.
I would, and that's it. Like I would have that, and then there would be nothing else for my Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
And that's the point. You can have these things, but just know, because it sounds like it's good ingredients, right? It's got turkey, it's got all the things in one little pie, so it sounds convenient. But that is all I would have, and maybe a piece of like sweet pie later. But I mentioned this in my piece. My kind of fifth rule was, remember, it's not called gorge giving, it's Thanksgiving. Yeah. And we're told this every holiday. Remember the reason for the season. Yeah. But our society and culture has been so consumed with food all the time.
I know.
That we think it's just a day to stuff ourselves. I think if we can get out, I'm actually calling you from like a bathroom in a place, because I'm going out for a hike for 2 hours. Because
wow.
I like want to practice what I preach.
Yes. Well, do like Jesus did. Enjoy, indulge a little bit, then go for a walk with a dozen of your closest friends.
Yeah, exactly. or family and dogs. I mean, just remember, there's so much, particularly in this country, I don't think people understand what it's like in other countries, but so much to be grateful for.
Exactly. Well, we got to go. I appreciate you so much. Great to have you on. Where can people find all your work?
Heritage.org. I'm somewhere on that website, and my own website is jennifergalardi.com.
All right. Have a blessed Thanksgiving. Thanks for being on the show. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online.
Don't do it!
Where Gage's skilled ring designers will
Okay, guys, I quit drinking, lost 5 pounds. Yeah, it'll hit you. You'll lose much more. Let's see. Somebody said something about I used to be a bodybuilder, and we used carbs before training for energy, and just before bodybuilding show to fill out before going on stage. Yeah, you know what? Carbs, there's nothing wrong with them. Some good bread. Don't buy crap bread. Don't buy Wonder Bread. Don't buy that crap. Buy a whole grain bread, guy, and look at the ingredient label and see what's on it. If it's got more than 10 ingredients, don't buy it. It's terrible. I've got a lot to, listen, I'm not perfect. I cheat. I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff in my diet that are not good, and I'm carrying a few more pounds than I want to right now, but I still work out, and I'm stronger than I was in my 30, and I'm stronger than I was at 50, I'm stronger than I was at 40, and I'm stronger than I was at 30. Right now, if I told you the amount of weight that I push during a workout, you'd go, no frickin' way. Are you in the NFL? I'm not screwing around. And I don't have any joint problems or nothing. It's nuts. Crazy. Check my social media to see pictures of me working out. Yeah. All things in moderation, occasionally to excess. Here we go. This is not an EV. And it never will be. You know, I was at there's this store. It's a restaurant supply place I like to shop at, and I went and bought my jalapenos for my pickled candied Christmas jalapenos the other day. And there's a guy standing there, and we were talking about cars or whatever, and he said he had a Ford F-150 Lightning, which is an electric truck, which is, I mean, you're a poser if you have an F-150 Lightning. And he was talking about, I really love my truck. It's really fast. I said, really, what's your range on that? He goes, full charge is 219 miles. I said, really? He goes, yeah, but it never achieves that. When you put any load on it or it gets cold, you don't even, I mean, what the hell? Why would you even have it? But he's still like, I really like my truck. Really? And it's got a range of what? 150 miles before you got to plug it in? Are you out of your nut? My God. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, by the way, if you would have bought an ounce of gold on Monday, if you would have had 10 ounces of gold since Monday to today, you would have made $2,000. What? Yeah. Because Monday was right around $4,000. Today it's $4,182 an ounce. I told you it was pausing. You got to get on board. You got another, 4 days before Birch Gold doesn't give you gold to buy gold. When you buy $20,000 worth of gold from Birch Gold, they're going to send you free gold. You might want to get on that right now, maybe today before you go over the river and through the woods. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 to claim your eligibility for a free info kit on gold and eligibility for free gold with every $20,000 purchased. And as far as your IRA or 401k, you're going to need a whole lot more than $20,000 or you're going to be a hurting unit. $4,182 an ounce, and it was $2,600 last January. It's time to get on the gold bandwagon. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold to claim your eligibility for a free info kit on gold and free gold, I might add, and it ends November the 30th, so get on the gold train, baby. All right, so coming up on the other side of the top of the hour, a man won the strongest woman in the world contest because he tested positive for penis. We got that coming up. We've got AOC seeking donations for a turkey giveaway, but the money goes to her election campaign. I know, what a nice lady. What a really nice lady. Somalia and Minneapolis, Somalians who are criminal are destroying the Twin Cities that I used to call home, and thank God I don't anymore. That's all coming up, and Louis Gohmert joins us next hour too. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust NEWSMAX. NEWSMAX.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide. Real news for real people.
it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It is the day before Thanksgiving. And we got what's going to be, they say, the biggest travel day we've seen in between 15 years and ever. Because people have a little extra money. The economy's starting to turn around. I mentioned that, Best Buy, they've upgraded their fourth quarter expectations. They say that things are amazing for the company. People are buying electronics and whatnot. We had some great news on the economy. Record-setting tariffs brought in October. And we haven't even happened. The big, beautiful bill hasn't even kicked in yet. That starts in January. That's why the Democrat Party is doing so much to try to tear down Donald Trump. And it's not going to work. Not going to work. So we got a lot of things to get to this hour. Louis Gohmert's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. He was one of those guys who was wrapped up in that Arctic frost. The Arctic frost, it was a witch hunt. It was absolutely a witch hunt on the Republican Party, on Donald Trump. It was an attempt to kill MAGA. They surveilled congressmen, agencies like TPUSA. They tried. Now this is interesting. I want you to listen to this because Mike Benz. Mike Benz is one of my favorite people. And he's done some research on Arctic frost. This was a Stalinistic attempt to find crimes by targeting people first and then looking for minutia to destroy their lives. That's what these sons of bees did. And I want you to listen to Mike Benz explain to why the government, and it's real cutesy. It's real cutesy why they called it Arctic frost. Do you know why they call it Arctic frost? Mike Benz is going to tell you. Wow, sit down.
Well, Arctic frost is serendipitously the name of a orange tree that happens to also grow in
Orange Man Bad. Yeah. It's that simple.
Florida. It appears to be cheekily named in the same way that Operation Crossfire Hurricane was named after the lyrics in the Jumping Jack Flash Rolling Stones song, where Jumping Jack Flash is a movie starring Whoopi Goldberg about being chased around by British spies, just as Trump was chased around by British spies. With Russiagate, Arctic frost appears to have been an operation to rid the country of orange trees, basically removing all support for Donald Trump, root and branch, targeting 430 different GOP officials. As I believe Ted Cruz said, 20% of Senate Republicans, Trump's media allies, political allies, civil society.
These mother scratchers need to go to jail. There need to be a massive attempt, and I should know, indictments, prosecutions in prison.
Organizations like the Conservative Partnership Institute, wiretapping, secretly getting their cell phone communications, including the official phones of sitting senators, including those on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is supposed to oversee FBI at all times in order to ensure the FBI is not abusing or overstepping in its authorities. And so this would be effectively like a defendant spying on the secret communications of the judge who is going to rule on his case and determine his innocence or guilt.
Yeah, that's why Jim Gossett did this for us on the day before Thanksgiving.
Up the river and into jail is where Jack Smith should go.
I hope so.
Pam knows the way to make Jack pay. No mercy she should show. Into the slammer, they'll lock him up for 20 years or more.
I hope.
We'll close the book on Jack the Crook and slam the jail cell door.
Bye-bye.
Straight into prison, Letitia goes, and Merrick Garland too.
Yay!
It's never too late to make the deep state pay for what they do.
No.
An orange jumpsuit for May or Gus, it is overdue.
Yeehaw.
Handcuffed for Chris Ray, indict him today. It's up the river for you.
Yeah.
Fat Alvin Bragg to jail they'll drag. fawning well as you're through.
There you go, and the case was dropped. The election interference fraudulent bullcrap case was dropped in Atlanta. That Fawny and her boyfriend decided that they would try to bring against Donald Trump. It was another fraudulent case brought up during an election year to take out Donald Trump, to take him down, because everybody knows that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen. Yeah, I said it. I can say it now. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. Nobody can scream disinformation or misinformation or anything like that. It's kind of crazy, So they got this illegal immigration takedown going on in Memphis. In Memphis, more than 3,000 arrests, 121 reported missing children located. These are children that were going to be sold into slavery for sex and labor and stuff. And Joe Biden didn't give a damn because, well, he has pudding for brains and he didn't know what's going on. But the Democrat Party didn't give a crap. Here is Pam Bondi with the report from Memphis.
Since President Trump ordered federal law enforcement officers to search Memphis, 121 children have been located and returned to safety. Wow. More than 3,100 arrests have been made, including 327 known gang members.
Wow. And the Democrat Party hates it. They hate it. They liked all these illegals coming. They didn't care what the body count was. Not one little bit. Didn't give a rat's behind. Unbelievable. In Minneapolis, the Somali population. Somalia is America's meth lab trailer. No, the world's meth lab trailer park. I'm not afraid to say it because Somalia sucks. That's why so many people leave Somalia. And they were stealing every charity blind. A lot of these Somalians in Minneapolis and around the country and around the world, apparently. Here is Douglas Murray, somebody who I appreciate greatly. He's a hell of an orator and a very intelligent man, talking about Somalia and what they do in Minneapolis and around the world.
Yeah, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar there. You'd have thought that once again this is purely an issue of language. She says the language about this is dangerous. It's not about the language, it's about the facts. It's about whether or not American taxpayer money...
She's filthy, rotten, corrupt too.
...money, and the American taxpayer has been defrauded by members of the Somali community in Minnesota. And by the way, it has to be said that if people like Ilhan Omar want to actually address problems, they should get to the facts themselves. Cases like that, the abuse of the welfare system...
$1.5 billion faking children having autism and getting hundreds of millions of dollars sent back to Somalia, that actually the money going into Somalia, stolen from U.S. charities, was larger than the government budget there.
And the abuse of the housing system has been endemic in Somali emigre communities across Europe.
Starving children, $250 million during COVID. None of it went to feed starving children.
And other parts of the world where they've gone. It's you know, sadly, I mean, people bring certain things from the culture that they come from to the countries they come to. Yeah. And if they come from a very, very violent country where there has been enormous amounts of defrauding and much more...
Yeah, they have pirates, by the way. They kidnapped Captain Phillips, for God's sake.
...going on, and they come to countries like America, then sadly some of those members of that community will continue those kinds of practices. Yep. That's something that anyone representing the Somali community in America should address, rather than attacking the language or anything else.
Yeah, because, you know, racism. You scream racism loud enough, then they will forget all the fraud. And that's what Ilhan Omar does. I hope they deport her sorry butt too, by the way. I really do. That woman, honestly, she doesn't love the country, and she's a fraud. She's a friggin' fraud. She's a lousy individual. It should be honestly, come to America to be American. We've been doing that for centuries. People coming here with their pockets empty, looking to live the American dream, admit something. This woman is none of that. Now listen to Chris Rufo. This was a lengthy soundbite, but I want you to hear Chris Rufo, because he's the guy who uncovered the latest scam, which is a $1.5 billion in fraudulent claims of autism in the state of Minnesota. So much so that it caused the rate of autism countrywide to go up. That's how much fraud was. Here's Chris Rufo.
Last 10 years, Minnesota's Somali community, it's about 100,000 people, mostly in Minneapolis, a neighborhood called Little Mogadishu, for obvious reasons, has been conducting fraud at an eye-popping scale. I mean, truly extraordinary. We're talking about billions of dollars, billions with a B, that are getting sucked out of taxpayer programs, routed through various fake NGOs, into the pockets of Somalis in Minnesota.
I told you they were looting the treasury in D.C. They were looting the treasury around our country. And wait till you hear why they're allowed to do it. Because Tim Wentz and others up there overlooked it and still won't go after them.
But one detail that we uncovered, they're actually taking bags of cash, taking them on commercial airplanes out of Seattle, out of Minneapolis, out of other airports, flying this cash to Mogadishu, where it's dispersed through a network of informal money changers. The Al-Shabaab terrorists take a cut. And it's like every government program imaginable, they're setting up these front organizations. Autism, social services, feeding the hungry. And they're pulling in, tens of millions, if now not hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And the other kind of dirty secret of this story is that the Minnesota state government, the Democrats who
Listen to what the Democrats, we said about illegals coming in the country so they can vote. You better pay attention to this.
are in charge, Tim Walz and others, have effectively turned a blind eye to this because they don't want to offend the Somalis. They don't want to, earn the accusation of racism, which the Somali activists are very ready and very eager to deploy. And they feel that they need the Somali vote in Minneapolis to win statewide. And I hope that the story will have some impact on the particular level, meaning law enforcement, which has been doing a good job rounding up some of these groups, will extend their efforts, but also opening up these larger questions about immigration, about identity, about who we let into the country, what are our expectations. This should be an obvious one, right? You can't steal billions of dollars from taxpayers. That's like a no.
Yeah, ICE needs to go over the Somali community in Minneapolis with a fine-tooth comb. If there is a hint of any sort of malfeasance among any of them, they should be removed. The good law-abiding ones can stay, who want to assimilate into our culture, learn our language, pass our citizenry test, and become a productive member of society. Otherwise, the rest of you, hasta la vista. I don't know how you say goodbye in Somalian, but that's what I'm saying. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Newsmax. You like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2.
And that'll be followed by a rejoin.
Smartphones and
Poor little Democrats.
Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp. And they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
It is a Rob Carson Show. Louis Gohmert's going to talk to us at the bottom of the hour. He was wrapped up in that Arctic frost, which we now know is the frost that kills orange trees in Florida. Orange Man Bad. That's a cute little name they came up with it, and they tried to do what Stalin did, and that is show me the man, I'll show you the crime, I'll find the crime. They did that with Donald Trump. They tried to do that when they raided Mar-a-Lago, and they issued FISA warrants so they could spy on his campaign, his transition team, and his presidency. Yeah, that's what they did. They need a lot of people need to go to jail. A lot of people need to go to jail for the rest of their lives. Here's the Somali community in Minneapolis, obviously a major issue. There's another thing apparently involving people who come to America who and other countries, by the way, who are not interested in assimilating, are only interested in bringing the abject corruption of their country into other countries. And this has been going on all over the world, particularly in America, including in Germany. Now listen to this. Nearly every city in Germany is going bankrupt. How globalist mass migration policies are turning Germany into a third world welfare colony. Germany's cities are collapsing under a 30 billion pound deficit or euro deficit, whatever the hell it is. And even mayors of the neoliberal pro-mass migration center-right party, the Christian Democrat Union, are finally admitting the globalist system they helped create has driven the Europe's strongest economy straight into the wall. The mayor of Essen, a large city in Germany, recently admitted that almost every single German city is on the brink of bankruptcy, with only a handful managing balanced budgets. The North Rhine-Westphalia, the country's biggest state, has just 10 solvent municipalities out of 396. For the first time, even wealthy cities are imposing spending freezes. An era of endless Merket-style handouts officially dead. The main culprit, the unrelenting stream of migrants, the majority of whom are welfare-dependent military-age men. Gee, they let a whole lot of those into America, didn't they, when Joe Biden was the president? So-called refugee housing, welfare, and integration efforts alone devour at least 50 billion euros a year nationwide, and that's the official low-ball estimate. Yes, what's going on all over the world? All over the world, and this is why Democrats are going after ICE, because they realize those are voters that would usurp your and I votes. If you came here legally and you went through the process of becoming a citizen, or if you were born here, they take your votes, because the Democrat Party knows that if they load a bunch of large S to people who come from crap holes like Somalia, they will vote for you forever, even if it's illegal. That's your Democrat Party. I swear to God. DOJ employee arrested, booked on terrorism and evidence tampering. FAFO, baby. DOJ employee arrested, booked on terrorism for doxing a federal agent during a raid in Brownsville, Texas. Karen, her name's Karen, I know. Karen Olvera de Leon, an employee with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Brownsville, appeared to live stream a federal raid on June 9th. A male joined the live stream and issued a death threat against one of the federal agents. Another viewer of the live stream, later identified as Karen, doxed the federal agent, provided his identity to the man issuing the death threat. So said, go get him, go kill him. She in a lot of trouble. Karen booked on charges of terrorism and tampering or fabricating evidence. Olvera de Leon's arrest is linked to a June 9th federal enforcement operation. We know that. Male subject in a chat made an online threat. We already went through that. She was released on $20,000 bond, and she is facing up to 20 years in prison. I hope she gets every damn bit of it. This from the DHS. Our officers are facing more than 1,000% increase in assaults against them and their families are being doxxed and threatened online. Tom Homan last night says, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to hire another 10,000 ICE agents, and we're going to kick some serious butt. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Even if you, sing stupid songs. Here's some stupid hippies, boomers from the 1960s in Chicago.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved.
I swear they get the same people for every protest.
Just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Actually, if a tree's planted by the water, frequently, if it's flooding near a river, it'll uproot the tree and it'll fall in the water and go downstream. I've noticed that. It happens a lot. I've lived near streams, near water and trees and stuff. So there's that. This is good news. Massive military buildup in our on our own hemisphere isn't just about Maduro and Venezuela. It's about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere. And it's called Operation Southern Sphere. And Maduro and Venezuela is about to go bye-bye.
Should President Trump order strikes against the Maduro regime, there's plenty of firepower in the Caribbean to do it, with about 30% of all deployed American warships, including the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford, now on station. There are over 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles in theater aboard destroyers and U.S. Marines aboard the USS Iwo Jima and other amphibs in the Ready Group. Now, ahead of Thanksgiving, the U.S. military's top officer, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Raisin Kane, arrived in Puerto Rico yesterday to meet the forces.
General Raisin Kane. I love it. I love it. Venezuela will be free. Then we got to do something about Brazil and Bolsonaro, getting him out of jail. And then we got to spread freedom around the world, because that's what's happening. So suck it, hippies. We've got Louis Gomer joining us next. He's awesome. Don't go anywhere.
House wants me to testify about Jeffrey Epstein, but I've got lots to cover up, if you know what I mean. They'll ask me about the island, on what went on down there. I could go and tell the truth, but I wouldn't dare. I am dodging subpoenas, and so is my wife. We will try to dodge them for the rest of our lives. We are dodging subpoenas. Comer says we'll fail, 'cause if we keep on dodging, he will send us to jail. We are dodging subpoenas, could find us in contempt from prosecution. We are not exempt. We are dodging subpoenas because we are afraid.
Well, Arctic frost is serendipitously the name of a orange tree that happens to also grow in Florida. It appears to be cheekily named in the same way that Operation Crossfire Hurricane was named after the lyrics in the Jumping Jack Flash Rolling Stones song, where Jumping Jack Flash is a movie starring Whoopi Goldberg about being chased around by British spies, just as Trump was chased around by British spies. With Russiagate, Arctic frost appears to have been an operation to rid the country of orange trees, basically removing all support for Donald Trump, root and branch, targeting 430 different GOP officials. As I believe Ted Cruz said, 20% of Senate Republicans.
Yeah, it was Stalinistic to say the least. Joining us on the NEWSMAX hotline, somebody who I miss hearing his voice frequently, coming out of Washington, D.C., the great former Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert on the NEWSMAX hotline. Brother, I miss your sound bites.
Oh, man. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to give them any time. Good to be on with you, Rob. Thank you.
It is, I got to tell you, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. That's what they did. They went all in.
That's exactly what they did. And to do it with a grand jury subpoena, I mean, you know, as a prosecutor, I was involved with grand juries as a judge. They were my grand juries that I impaneled and answered questions and helped with. But if you had a less than ethical prosecutor, he would come into a grand jury with a stack of papers. I can see it happening, saying, look, these are people named in here. We just need the evidence on these people, and so I need you to sign off on this. And there's no proof of probable cause that they did anything, no proof of a crime was probably committed. They just sign off, and so that's one problem. And then another problem besides Fourth Amendment, probable cause, all that, is that it is a separate branch of government. It is one of the checks and balances on the DOJ, on the FBI. And so they just overrode that. And then another check and balance on that is the judiciary. And, you know, we know that a judge got involved, and Grassley's investigative team told me that it was Boasberg. You know, we know that name, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
That apparently they went to him and said, look, these people like Jim Jordan and Gohmert, and if you don't sign this non-disclosure order so that they can't tell these people that we've gotten their records, they're likely going to flee the country.
Wow.
They're going to destroy evidence, like Hillary Clinton did. They're going to intimidate witnesses. But keep in mind what destroying the evidence, they were going to the companies that had the evidence. So it wouldn't do you any good to do what Hillary Clinton did and destroy your cell phone or bleach bit or whatever you did. They were getting the records from the cell phone companies. And we don't know the full parameters of what they did. We don't know all the companies they went to for sure. Yeah. There was so much. And Grassley's investigators were doing a heck of a job. But they were going to just so much information.
I know.
We haven't gotten it all.
Oh, it is a massive conspiracy. It is a massive conspiracy, brother.
Oh my gosh! And so Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, they're involved, and they're going to help. And Sean Dunnigan is attorney with them. They're going to help us get to the bottom of just what all they got. But isn't that ridiculous, though, to go before a judge and say they'll destroy evidence? You're getting all of this, everything you want from the company that has all this information.
But what the hell? There's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's no criminal wrongdoing. There's no suspicion. There's no suspicion of criminal wrongdoing. You're saying they're going to destroy evidence. It doesn't exist.
It's just a fishing expedition of the worst kind in the world. And it was one of the things that it bothered me so much about the Patriot Act and why I kept fighting for sunsets, because these guys at the DOJ, especially during the Obama years, but they were even doing it during Bush's second term. They were not answering our Judiciary Committee's response to, or responding to our request for production and information that we were trying to get about how these different things were used. And it wasn't until Sunset came up in 2006 that they finally started answering things. And so, anyway, wow. I was a freshman, and our chairman, Jim Sensenbrenner, great guy, and he's great on border issues, but he came in and told us we're not going to have any more sunsets. And I was going, what are you talking about? The only way we ever got answers is when some of these laws they like are going away. We got to have sunsets, and it came down to the last day when we were going to have the hearing, and he started our Republican meeting by saying no sunsets on anything, and everybody had caved but me, and I started making the case, and it got kind of angry at one point.
Yeah.
And just say this, after our meeting of just the Republicans, I was kind of war weary, and I came out, and Chris Cannon, Republican from Utah, was telling some of the Democrats that wanted sunsets back then. Later, they didn't care about anybody's privacy except Democrats. Mm-hmm. But back then, they were concerned about everybody's because we were in the majority. But he was going, it was unbelievable. Wow. Sensenbrenner said, no sunset. And Gohmert started making the case, and finally one after another started going, I think I'd be more comfortable if we had a sunset, something.
But think about this.
And one by one, our Republicans said, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but I agree with Louis. Wow. And so we ended up not giving up on sunset, so they had to come to us and beg to keep.
What's sickening about it is that they took advantage of the heartbreak and the tragedy of 9/11 to pass the
exactly,
and they turned it against us immediately.
Turned it against, and one of the things that really bugged me too was that in that initial Patriot Act. The president had the right to take U.S. citizens and put them, incarcerate them with no right of writ of habeas corpus. And that seemed pretty outrageous to me. And so I kept fighting to get that eliminated, so at least American citizens had a right to file for writ of habeas corpus.
God. Hey, can you hold on, Louis? Can you hold on? I gotta do a break here and come back. I'd love to keep you for 2 breaks, man. I've waited a long time for this conversation. You ain't going anywhere. All right, let's take a break and come back. More with Louis Gorman on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Day before Thanksgiving, Louis Gohmert, former captain, assistant DA, judge, chief justice, and congressman, and truth teller, according to his Twitter feed, joins us on the NEWSMAX hotline. Did you ever think that you would get caught up in something like this Arctic frost, that they would go fishing through your phone records to try to find something?
Well, I was concerned they would do that with all kinds of American people when Mueller and Comey and Christopher Wray were at the FBI. I mean, these people were not trustworthy.
No.
And I knew I was very clean, but again, you go back to the show me the man and I'll find a crime kind of thing. Make one up if you have to, and that's what Stalin did, and that appears to be what they were going to try to do.
It was.
But no, but nobody is safe when you have a runaway Justice Department like this. It's as I've been saying for years. The only thing Orwell got wrong was the year. It wasn't 1984. before. We're living it now.
Oh, yeah, man.
And especially during the Biden administration.
Yes.
You know, nobody was really safe because these people had no boundaries. They didn't. The Constitution was no boundary to them.
Well, you know, when I was, I was on doing the show, and I never experienced anything like, and it was bizarre and strange, and I recognized it almost immediately that my opinions were called disinformation or misinformation, and I went, whoa, where have I heard that? Then I saw disinformatia was used by Joseph Stalin in 1923, and he set up a Department of Disinformation. That's what they tried to do at the DHS. So the left, the class of 1968, Barack Obama, I'll just throw that in there, tried the tenets of Mao, Stalin, and even the Third Reich to take down Donald Trump. The Reichstag was the summer of 2020. No, the Reichstag was January the 6th. Kristallnacht was the summer of 2020, and what's happening on America's Camp I against the Jewish students. And then, of course, Mao with kowtowing, and Stalin with all the... If they were... The class of 1968 threw everything at us, and the only person who could have survived it was Donald Trump.
Yeah. I don't know of anybody else that could have survived this onslaught.
No.
But we actually, I heard a House member, a Democrat, say, you know, what we need is a Department of Truth or a ministry.
Yes.
Going, oh, you mean a Ministry of Truth? Well, Orwell pointed that out.
Yes.
You know, they rewrite what truth is every stinking day. That came right out of 1984. You know, Orwell wrote that.
I know it did.
And just incredible. They're following the playbook of the worst people in the history of the world.
Now let me ask you this, Louis Gohmert. You're talking about there's a grand conspiracy. Tulsi Gabbard has been hinting at that. They're going to need some legal firepower. They're going to need thousands of lawyers to go after all of this. Is there a possibility you might consider joining the crowd? Would you be legally allowed to do such things?
Well, yeah, I'd be legally allowed to do that because there's nothing. They had nothing on me. There was no case. There was nothing. But well, actually, Rob, I was contacted about, would you take this position?
Good.
This was back, like January, February,
really?
At the DOJ,
Wow.
and then I would say, yeah, sure, I would do that. That's right in my.
I'd love it.
bailiwick.
I would love it.
Then I was told, well, how about this position? Going, well, yeah, I could bring a lot to that. And then I was told, I get a call after about 3 of those. Yeah, I could do that. And then I get a call. Well, how about Department of Homeland Security?
Wow.
Going, what happened to DOJ? And we're going, well, I'm over here. My transition group is over at DHS now.
Wow, it normally takes me years to get one job offer, let alone 4.
It turned out that Chad Mizell, I was told he was a deputy under Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
He also happened to be a guy that worked for Rod Rosenstein that helped write up the game plan for Rosenstein and the special counsel Mueller. You may remember that.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those kind of things. Well, he was Deputy Attorney General.
Wow. And
just in the last month, he ended up being relieved and going spend more time with his family in Florida. But I'm going, how did that happen? But anyway, I was told that he was the one that was really raising Cain, that I should not be anywhere near the Justice Department.
Well, I want to see you in there.
So, yeah.
I want to see you in there.
So, well, I don't know.
All right.
Called upon, I will serve. But,
well, let me ask you, can I ask a couple of other things real quick? We only got about another minute and a half or so.
Sure.
Position on the seditious 6 and Mark Kelly, what needs to happen?
Well, the story is that the FBI wants to talk to those members.
Yep.
But that bothers me because that's not the way you make a case if you're serious about it.
Okay.
First, you talk to the people around them, and you find out all you can. You gather more information. that sounds like somebody that's going to talk to them, and then they say, oh, no, we didn't mean anything. It sounds like somebody that's not serious about making a case.
Really?
Out of what sounds to me like a very serious case.
It is.
So, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Aiding and abetting, a crime. It's being an accomplice as a judge. I'd read instructions to a jury that encouraging the committing of a crime is the same as being a principal to the crime.
Wow.
So, anyway, I'm a little disheartened that the first thing they're doing is, we just need to talk to them. No, you go gather evidence about what they were doing, how they went about this, who they talked to, what they said, and then you talk to them. That's how you go about deciding whether there's a case or not. You don't go to them the very first thing, because then you don't have any ammunition to use when you're interviewing them.
Well, listen,
so that's very discouraging.
We got to run, Louis Gohmert. It's a real pleasure having you on today. I hope you get I hope you get called in, man. I want you back here in Washington D.C. I just moved here about 5 months ago.
Well, as my buddy Sean Hannity had said one time, he said, well, let's face it, Lou, you're a handful.
All right, you're two handsful. All right, God bless you and happy and happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk again soon. Let's take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show. God, that guy, I had to chime in because he just keep talking. Unbelievable. All right, who's watching over here? Let's see. Prani, you guys are talking about working at McDonald's or something over there. I don't know. Trying to chime in here. Let's go. What is this? Who's watching on the Rumbly Roo? Kerry Corley Jr., what's up? You say you're out until Tuesday. Have a great Thanksgiving. Appreciate it. Watch me tonight on NEWSMAX at 10 o'clock Eastern, if you would. It would be great. Over on YouTube, we got Duckman 558. Even Cartman from South Park hated hippies. Yeah, I know. When my son was like 11 years old, we were in Ocean City, Maryland. It was pouring down rain, and there were some people driving a VW Vanagon, and they looked like hippies. And I was driving my truck, and we hit a puddle, and it splashed their truck big time. And he said, "Splash the hippies, Dad!" And I was like, "Hey, that was a proud moment." Proud moment. Let's see, what else? A lot of people watching on Twitter as well. Yeah, watch me tonight if you get a chance to on the Chris Plant Right Squad, if you would. It should be a lot of fun tonight. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And speaking of that, I've got to come up with something to talk about here. Frank Luntz. Kami. I got to figure out here. What do I got here? University Man. Josh Shapiro. Efferon to find out. Porch Pirate. Mondami. Oh! Yeah, hold on. I got it. Get some fun here. Okay. All right, so the strongest woman in the world has her title taken away because she tested positive for penis. We'll have that in one moment. If you would have bought some gold, if you would have had 10 ounces of gold on Monday versus now, you would have made $2,000 because it went up about $200 in value since Monday. That's your price of gold, $4,182 an ounce right now. It started off last year at $2,600 an ounce. I've been telling you forever that Birch Gold is where you want to go. They got a 5-star rating. They've got a 5-star rating from me because they got my money, for crying out loud. And I got to tell you, I trust them, and they're not pushy. They don't bug you. They don't call you. They don't text you. They don't do anything like that. You just text my name, Rob, to 989898, and they'll just take your text, respond to you, set up a phone call, decide what you want to do with your money. Then you give them a little information about the accounts, your IRA or 401k, or just your cash, or what you want to do with it. And then they just take care of the rest of it. Make it painless and easy. It's tax-sheltered IRA and gold. What? Yeah. Yeah, and then right now through the end of the month, which is the 30th, which is only, 4 days away? You can get free gold with every $20,000 purchased. $20,000 purchased. Free gold, but only if you get the ball rolling by the end of this month. Again, text my name to 989898 to claim your eligibility for a free info kit on gold. Remember, it was $4,000 on Monday. It's $4,182 today. You got a little pause. So you want to get on the gold train with Birch Gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold.
Rising to the top, push it to the edge, give it all you got, barely break a sweat, strong woman, strong woman.
You know, last night as I was sitting on the set of the Right Squad on Newsmax, and I was hearing the details of this story about the strongest woman in the world winning this contest, Jamie Booker, I was like, it was like being dropped in from Mars. She was disqualified just days after she destroyed the competition, the official strongman games worldwide in Arlington, Texas. They found out she's biologically male. This is about the death of shame, by the way. This isn't about anything but the death of shame, really, and also the death of common sense. Unfortunately, it's still aware. Fortunately, they took the dang title away from him, and I'm hoping that we will eventually be able to put this chapter in our history, this lunatic social contagion behind us. That's going to do it for the show today. I'm going to be off until Monday, but tonight watch me on Newsmax on the Right Squad, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. My TV show, Rob Carson's One in the World Thanksgiving Holiday Spectacular, is this weekend as well on Sunday night, so don't miss that. In the meantime, God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump as he's making the country great again. Thank God for all of it. And until Monday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.